Well, hello, hello, hello. Look, how do you honor your time? First, let me just say, I'm so happy to be in this space with you. Know that I've missed you. Know that you have been in my thoughts and my prayers. But before we get into the conversation about how do you honor time, let's get the theme song going. Hey, hey, I'm live at 5. 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 Come on inside of the StreamYard room. Yes, it is Denise Merriweather here. I'm live at 5. First, I want to say thank you so much for your thoughts and your prayers as I had a family emergency. My husband wound up having emergency surgery, so I've been away for a couple of months. And I am so happy to be back here with you today. This month, as you know, I have planned out conversations for the year. And in the month of April is all about honoring your time. Put it in the chat, honor your time. Put it in the chat, honor your time. And of course, it is so important and definitely beneficial that I share that, of course, throughout this time, throughout my husband's surgery, throughout everything that has happened, I had to honor my time. And I think in order for us to really appreciate the conversation about honoring our time, we first have to understand what time really is. Let me go ahead and introduce myself to you. My name is Denise Merriweather. I am the CEO and founder of Queenpreneurs Jumpstart Program. It is the #1 training environment for women in the world looking to leverage their knowledge, ignite their passion, build a highly profitable business by building their courage, confidence, and competence so they can accept, believe, and commit to what it is that God has called them to do. So let's go ahead and start having this conversation of time, of course, going through an ordeal or a traumatic experience or seeing a loved one that may be ill. It actually brings time present, right? It makes it a real living thing for you, something that you're paying attention to, something that you're conscious of, something that you value. And not saying that you don't do these things every other day, but it becomes more immediate or present when you're actually being challenged for time or your time, you realize how you're not in control of time and how it is a phenomenon that escapes you, your grip of it, your fingertips, like it's something truly you cannot control. And how do I know this? Well, just based on the definition, right? It doesn't even really have substance. Hey, LaShawn, when you think about time, when you think about how we use it and how we feel about it. Like, tell me some of the challenges that you come up against when it comes to time. Thank you so much for sharing too, Sissy. I appreciate you. And thank you so much for being here. So I think while you're thinking about how time challenges you, right? It feels like it runs from you. It escapes you. It's I don't know. It's just aloof, right? And the more it seems like the more you try to control it, the more it slips through your fingers. The more you try to hold on to it, the more you try to grab it, the more you try to use it. Like all the things shows you more and more the things that you do that you cannot control time. So are we on the same page that we can't control time? And let me tell you how time is also another phenomenon that, again, one, I don't feel like you could truly grasp it or get it, but it is definitely something. I'll tell you what we actually can do with it in just a little bit. So let me go through a definition for you and with you, right? So the definition of time, or one of the definitions of time, right? It is something that measures or is measurable period during which an action, process, or condition exists or continues, right? It's something that quantifies time, right? It measures it, it compares it, the duration of it, the intervals of it between other things, other events. There's some form of a sequence. Put it in the chat. Time escapes me, right? But I just want you to get that the more you try to control it, the more it leaves. Just put that in the chat. The more I try to control time, the more it leaves. Like you cannot control time, right? Again, it is something that's measures. If you look at time, time is something that's actionable. It's something that measures events, processes, conditions, and how long those things stay in existence. So here is what I want you to start wrapping your loving arms around when it comes to time. Number one, I want you to get that time isn't promised, right? We get that. That time is not promised, right? It's not anything that is given to you. It's something that you actually have to take. Put it in the chat. Time is not promised to me. Time is something that I have to take. Not that I can control it, because remember, you can't control it, right? Because the day comes, the night comes without you, the month comes. The time changes change. Like the weather, the world or the sun moves in such a way that naturally in fall times it starts getting darker earlier. In springtime, it starts staying lighter longer. Like it's nothing that you can do, right? Time is not promised and you can't control it. It is definitely something that you have to take. And when I say take, means take advantage of, right? So time is not promised. We got that. Time is not promised. You need to make the most of it. You got to take it, make every moment count. Put it in the chat. I will make every moment count. Because again, once it's gone, but you can control how fast it leaves or how long it stays. Like you have totally no control of time. It is definitely a concept. You cannot touch it. You cannot feel it. You cannot probably even understand it, where it goes, how it moves, all the things. And it's okay. You don't need to. Don't worry about stuff that you can't control, right? Don't spend too much time using your brain cells and your brain power to try to worry about time and how it moves and how it relates to all the things that you're doing. Just know it is a tool that we measure events, processes, and conditions and how long it exists in our life. But time is not promised. Here is the thing that I want you to do, and I want you to get, that the power of time is to be declared. What do I mean by that? It is up to you to declare when time is meaningful, special, or useful. It is up to you to declare when time is beneficial, useful, important, whatever. You get to declare. It's in your declaration. So you know how people sometimes say, you remember the gospel song, "It's your time"? It's your time. How do you actually get or have a moment when it is your time? Who decides when it's your time? And I'm just going to wait and see. Who decides when it's your time? The power of time is to be clear. Yeah, who decides when it's your time? Put it in the chat. Right? So if you get that time is to be declared, who gets to decide when it's your time? You. Exactly. So you get to decide when it is your time and when and how long it lasts and how hard you go and what you actually obtain. You determine when it's your time. So if you are someone that's waiting for your time to come, your ship to come in, your ship to sell out, your opportunity to do any of the things that you want to do, who you think gets to determine when those things happen? That would be you. And your time, again, is declared. So whenever you make the declaration that it is your time, guess what? It is, in fact, your time. And whatever it is that you want to achieve in that time, see happen in that time, manifest in that time, it is up to you to take the effective, necessary, appropriate actions in order for those things to come back. You want me to say it again? It is up to you to take the necessary, the appropriate, and the effective actions in order for those things to show up. I was laying in bed this morning. Here's the revelation. This conversation is all about honoring your time. And I want you to get that it's not anything that you can control. If you missed some of this conversation, go back and get the beginning, go back and get the definition. But here's the thing that I want you to walk away with is that time is to be declared. And you get to declare when is your time. You get to decide how often you have a time period and how long it lasts. Now, if you have declared that 2024 is your time, then that means you have declared the 12 months of the year for 2024 to be your time. The question is, what is it that you're going to do with it? What is it your declaration includes? What is it that you're going to make happen? What is it that you're going to manifest? What is it that you're bringing about? Because time declared warrants results. Like if you're going to declare something, make it worth it. Because if not, time is just aloof. Remember, if there's no actions happening, if there's no process happening, if there's no conditions that exist, time ain't nothing. Time is defined by what's happening in it. Remember, it's aloof. You can't hold it. You can't touch it. You can't feel it. It's a declaration. You get to declare time. It's a phenomenon. You cannot control it. You don't know where it comes from. You don't know how it happens. You can't do anything with time. The best you can do is declare when it's your time and what you're going to do with it. Y'all got it? Tell me that you got it. Tell me that you got it, that you smell what I'm cooking. So listen, when you make your declaration about time, time again is, remember, actions, processes, and conditions that exist is measurable during a period of time. So you may say the next 2 months I am declaring is my time to do what? Because again, it's action, process, and conditions that exist. So is it your time? How are you going to honor it? What are you doing to make it as real, tangible as possible? Because again, it's nothing that you can control and you get to declare it, meaning your word, say this, your word actually creates the declaration. So the power is what you say, and honoring your time is when you declare it. So when you declare your time, you sure enough need to be in action, having a process, or in some form of condition existing in your life. So you got, okay, LaShawn says she got it. All right. So how do you honor your time? Put it in the chat and tell me, how do you honor your time? Your word actually creates a declaration. Absolutely. Words are power. Words are creative anyway. For those of you who have been in my community for longer than a hot second, you already know life and death is in the power of the tongue, that we actually speak things to be, and it is. Whether you're conscious of it or not, that's why I always tell you, be mindful of your conversations and the things that you're saying, the things that you're allowing to come out of this hole, the things that you're allowing to be seen in these holes, and the things that you're allowing to be heard in these holes, right? You have to be super careful because words are creative power. And whether you are conscious of it or not, there's creations in your life each and every day. There's things that you create, and there's things that you allow other people to create in you because you allow them to take root in here, in your heart, in your mind. So stop being thoughtless with your words because they're creative. Making the commitment to plan and to execute of the execution of the plan. Come on, Sean. I'm loving that. So let me tell you 80% planning, 20% execution. Yes, Danina's back. I am back. Whoever that is, Facebook user. Okay, Sean, this is for you. 80% planning, 20% execution. Just write it down, come back, look at some old videos. I don't know, Sean. 80% planning, 20% execution. It's important that you plan, but you can't stay in planning mode because here's the thing, Sean. Results only happens in the world of performance. Write it down. Y'all put it in the chat for Sean so Sean can come back and get it. Results only happen in the world of performance. So your planning normally happens here, right? In your mind, maybe in conversations or in a group or a team, right? Because that is a structure for fulfillment, Sean. To actually be in a group, you're brainstorming, people are throwing out ideas to you, y'all coming up with strategies and plans and all that stuff. Great. It's a structure for fulfillment. We cannot do things that's meaningful alone. So Sean, that's amazing. The planning is great. 80% planning, 20% execution. But here's the thing. The results that you want and that you're going to receive is only in the actions that you take. So the world of performance is where results are. You can overthink stuff. You can overplan stuff. You can stay in that world and you can talk about it and you can even feel like you're moving, Sean. But I want you to get, if there's no actions taking place, there's no results happening. Because the only place that results live is in the world of performance. Two worlds. We live in the world of reasons, insights, thoughts, feelings, all of those, not in the world of performance. So the world of performance is action on top of action, on top of action, on top of action. Okay, copy. You got it? On top of action, on top of action. And when you are taking action, you're headed towards somewhere. You're in the world of performance. Now, here's the kicker, Sean. Because sometimes we taking action and it's just busy. We just being busy. Right? It's some actions. I see a lot of things in my life that I get results in, but it ain't the things that I care about the most. Do you get that? Sometimes we can be distracted and we get excited. I get excited about being a doer. Anybody here a doer? Like, I can make some stuff happen. Sean, let me tell you, Sean Mason, I make some stuff happen, okay? I am affectionately known as a result coach. I make stuff happen. But I find myself at times taking actions, ineffective actions, appropriate actions to the conscious, right? The subconscious, or things that I'm thinking about. But the actual the actionable stuff, I ain't really doing. What do I mean by that? Okay, Sean, so let me tell you what I mean. There's things that we think about in our head and we actually act on because we see it as being true. So let me give you an examples. Whatever it is that you believe, that's how you're going to act. That's how you're going to move forward. So if you truly believe that you are not able to do whatever this thing is that the planning, you said you're going to do some planning and you're going to execute. But if in your mind you believe that you cannot do whatever it is that you're planning or executing, you're going to take actions, which will be in the world of performance, but it ain't going to get you the results. So let's say, Sean, you know that you need to give somebody a call in order for your project to move forward. But because you're afraid to make the call, you don't believe that they're going to help you, or you, for whatever reason, you don't take the action. You tell yourself you're going to take the action is I'm going to do it tomorrow. Do you get that the non-action is an action? Doing it tomorrow is a thought about doing the action, but not taking the action is an action. And based on what it is that you told yourself, is the action that you took, you not believing that the person is going to help you, is that an appropriate action or inappropriate action based on what you believe? You didn't make the phone call. You believe in your mind that the person is not going to help you. So instead of you making the phone call, you said, you know what, I'll just do it tomorrow. Is the action appropriate with what you believe? It's inappropriate. You think it is? If you believe that the person is not going to help you and you're going to put the call off until tomorrow, is it appropriate to what you believe, or is it inappropriate? Because here's what I want y'all to get. Whatever, you're only going to act on what you believe. Those are the actions you're going to take. So if you don't, come on now, sis. Yeah, you better unpack this. Okay, so listen. You only going to take actions on the things that you believe. So if you believe that the person is not going to help you and you don't call them and you put it off to tomorrow, that is appropriate action to what you believe. It would make no sense to make the call today because you don't believe that they're going to help you. See, this is how we operate. I just want y'all to know that this is what's happening. So here's how you get stuff done. When you hear the voices in your head that you cannot control, okay? Those things just swim past there. It just goes through. Remember, you were built to survive. You were not built to produce or thrive or anything. You was built to survive. So whenever your mind thinks you're going to hurt yourself, it's going to be disappointing, you're going to feel pain, it's going to try to tell you, don't do it. It's going to be like in the Madea movie when he was peeping through the world, don't do it. It's going to tell you, don't do it. But here's what you got to do, Sean. Here's what you got to do, Missy. Here's what you got to do, LaShawn. Here's what you got to do, Tiffany. Whatever you say in your mind, any voice you hear that's contrary, that goes against you taking the action, guess what I need you to do? Take the action. Make the phone call. So as soon as you hear yourself, oh, I don't feel like getting up, working out today, I want you to get up, do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the 5-second rule, as Mel Robbins would say. Count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and get to working out. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and get to making the call. Because whenever you hear voices going against what you have set out to do, you declared that it's time for you to do, you know it don't align, and you're not going to take the appropriate action. So change your mind, change the conversation. Be like, nah, that's okay. You might not feel like it, but I know in order for me to get to where I'm going, I got to take this action because this is the appropriate action to take based on what I want to see happen. But if you allow your belief of the person not answering the call, not helping you, and you can put it off till tomorrow, and you put it off to tomorrow, just know it's appropriate to what you believe. Do you get it? So we're always doing what we believe. We're always taking action with what we believe. And if you sit back and you think about your authentic way of being and thinking and acting and talking, when you hear yourself, like go back, when you don't take an action, when you say no, not right now, and you don't take the action, get that it's appropriate to what you said, whether you heard it audibly or not. Because you are doing, in fact, exactly what you want to do. So when you see the results contrary to the results that you said that you lied about, right? That you lied about because you were pretending like you really wanted to make this happen. Like, oh yeah, I really want to make $1 million this year. You do? How many courses did you develop? How many emails have you sent out? How many lives have you done, Janine? How many phone calls have you made? How many classes have you had? You can't possibly want to make $1 million if you're not taking the appropriate actions to what you're saying that you want to see. But if you're tired and you're dealing with a family emergency, which is nothing wrong with that, right? Or you need to take a break and you don't see these results, you can't be mad that you don't see these results because in your mind, you needed a break. So you took a break. So you didn't make the phone calls. You didn't set up the classes. You didn't go live. You did what you felt you needed to do to take care of yourself, which again is not bad. Is when we start blaming ourselves for the things that we don't see in our life and make ourselves feel bad when we know in actuality now you didn't do none of the actions for this to show up. Y'all got it? All right. So look, the question on the table is how do you honor your time? Honor your time by doing what you said you was going to do when you said you was going to do it. Now, we could talk about tools that you could use if it's helpful, but sometimes tools ain't helpful. You know, you could be effective without a calendar if you honor your word, right? You could be effective without having a plan, Sean, if you take the actions, right? So I just want you to know we do these things for things to go smooth because we have this idea of being organized helps, planning helps, and get it. Yeah, it can be helpful. But unless you're taking the appropriate actions to get the results, you could think it, you could pray it, you could talk about it, you could do all the things, but I promise it won't show up until you act. You got it? All right, look, always looking forward to serving you. I'm here, Sean, Tiffany, LaShawn, Missy, I'm here. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 5 o'clock. It's the Live at 5 with Janine Merriweather. Like this page, share this video, invite people to this community. Let's get this conversation going. We got some making up to do. We're going to continue to talk about honoring your time this week for the rest of this month. I need to give y'all what you were supposed to have in March, which was honoring your calling. Put it in the chat, honoring your calling month of March. So we're going to go back. We're going to get some of that information that I wasn't able to give you dealing with my emergency. But listen, I'm back now. And if y'all ready to get to work, say I'm ready to get to work. Put it in the, thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you. Put it in the chat. I'm ready to get to work. I'm ready to get to work because you're going to show up here. We're going to get to work. I'm going to invite you to spaces and places. We're going to get into Zoom rooms and all types of, yes, you ready to get to work. The question is, are you ready? Okay, Missy said I'm ready. You ready? You ready? You ready? Ready? I got to know if you're ready because I'm excited. I've been away for a while handling my business. You ready? Okay, it's time to get to work because the results, it's in the actions. It's in the world of performance. Get out the world of reasons. You can stay in reasons. You can do your planning. You can do all that stuff. That's in the world of reasons. Ain't nothing happening until you get over here and start putting foot to pavement. You got what I'm saying? Making phone calls, doing their things. I love you guys. I'm happy to be back. Continue to pray for my husband and my family as we continue to work through what we've been through, and just know I'm here. Thank you for those of you who called me, who texted me, who emailed me, who has shown up and been supportive during this time. I so appreciate you. I love my community. I'm looking forward to serving you. Let's go get it for the rest of the year. All right, y'all? See you on Wednesday. Hey, I'm live at 5. Share this video. Hey.